Let me know when you want to start. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, everybody, welcome, and sorry for the technical difficulties that we had. We're working, and hopefully this will give you a better experience today. Today we have Irvin Lemus, and Irvin is a person that I know for some time now. He's a very active person in the Bay Area cybersecurity community. He's part of our team, and he has prepared a workshop uh, about Owasp Top 10. Hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have any questions, please leave them for the end, or you can start typing then at the chat. And without further ado, then here's Irvin, and thank you.
Thank you, Rod and Marco. Let's get this started. A quick little thing about me. I have certs. I teach at Cabrillo. I run competitions for the Bay Area, for SkillsUSA in California and in Florida. But honestly, the title that I would go with for myself is troublemaker, because I like to get into trouble, cause all kinds of mayhem, because it's a whole lot of fun, and it puts hands-on experience for not only for myself, but also for the students and competitors that I mentor and teach. In Zoom, if you are using the app, here is a little tip. When someone keeps changing screens like I will throughout this, under the share screen options, there is a choice here that says maintain current size. That way, as I switch from one screen to another, and I reshare again, it doesn't take over your entire monitor over and over again, because I know that gets annoying for me. So here's a little quick pro tip for you. So today, we will spend our time on this page, and I will put this in the Zoom chat. A very simple page. But I organize this out so that anybody at any level can participate. For example, if you are starting up, you have no knowledge in networking and HTML and in SQL, level 0 is for you. So in level 0, there's a very quick thing from Microsoft on how networks function. There are 2 links that lead to W3 schools on HTML and CSS. And there's a link for SQL Bolt for the introduction to SQL. Now, you don't have to be an expert in these things. You don't have to understand the minutia of how a packet is created and sent. You don't have to know, you don't have to be able to read HTML, or be like a webmaster forever and a day, or be a SQL administrator for 20 years. You just have to be able to read it and understand what it says, being able to get the gist of what is being presented to you. That will be enough to go from level 0 to level 1. We're going to start today from level 1, introducing what is Oauth's Top 10. Then we'll spend some time there. I'll show you some stuff from level 2, some of the tools and the challenges. And then we'll also show you level 3 towards the end. The point of this is you're able to start wherever you want and go off as, if you feel you are well-versed in this world, you could just start right at level 3. If you feel like you're getting started, but you understand networking, you understand how HTML works, you have an understanding of SQL, you can start right at level 1, where we will be today. Any questions about how this will work? Okay. Then off to the site. We are going to click on Introductory Training Modules first. So again, from this site, click on that, and that will take you to this. Instead of going with the list and talking about that, let's actually do it so you have some hands-on into what we're going to be doing. And to start, let's go with, I believe there is a SQL one in here. Let's go with, here it goes, SQL Injection. So for me, it was the fourth one. And let me know when you're there, either by voice or in the chat. And just click on SQL Injection, and you'll be presented with this. So from this page that I will re-put in the chat, we are clicking on this one in level 1, the Introductory Training Modules. This first link will take you, I'll take one step back, to this. And the one we're going to click on is SQL Injection. I'll just open this in a new tab. So if you are here, it is a very simple process. This site tells you what to do step by step. So you don't need to install anything. You don't need to run anything extra. Just follow along the process as it shows you what a SQL injection is. And again, we're starting with hands-on into the Oauth top 10, which I'll show you next. So the first page was a little introduction. Second, we have an email that looks like it arrived to Bob. We have a get discount button and an unsubscribe link. Typical emails from companies. Having reviewed the email, Bob decides to investigate Carbive's email opt-out functionality. We click on unsubscribe. We are taken to an unsubscribe page. Again, you don't have to install anything. We're just following this along. Clicking the link gives you this. Bob decides to test this functionality by submitting an email address. So you can click on this copy button and it'll bounce when it says you copied. And we're going to paste it inside of this. Then we'll hit submit. Typical. And now we start to see what SQL injection is. To understand the subscribe functionality, Bob has to communicate with a backend server. Again, if you have no understanding of networking and how this works, that's where you need to go back to level 0. We have a little note of what is a web proxy. Here we see the entire request that is going from this site out. We can hit analyze request to review it. And here's some more information. Upon clicking submit, you'll see a post, an HTTP post, requesting pass email with that parameter. So whatever we entered in is that parameter. Then we can hit next. We have some backend code to look at. Again, it's highlighting for us, showing us things of interest. And if you are more than welcome to go ahead of me if you'd like. So there is a unsubscribe user method. To unsubscribe a user, here is a parameter. And it extracts the email parameter via post. Here is the actual SQL function created by concatenating email with SQL. We have the execution and the result. If a user was found, the variable is filled. There's a question. This code is in a JS file when you expect elements. Yes. So what this site is doing is showing you in a very sandboxed way the things that you'll be doing later. And that's why I wanted to start with this, because this is telling you really step by step in a very easy to digest way of what we'll be doing. We have a place to modify our request. It wants us to put Bob at live mail into this little section with the little unhappy faces. So let's paste that there. Want to see what happens when we forward this. Here is the response. Here's more information. There is an extra apostrophe character resulting in an error. Ooh. The ability to inject a user-supplied input with is interpreted by the SQL engine is known as SQL Injection. So as you continue, you will exploit, and again, just by copy pasting, you'll exploit this site in the manner of SQL injection. So the reason why I wanted to show you that, at least that first half of hands-on, is here is the list of the top 10 vulnerabilities to web applications. This list has not changed since 2017. Even the list for the majority has pretty much stayed the same. Here is the list at the top. The biggest risk is injection, the one that you're doing right now. That is the #1 flaw that exists. The #2 is broken authentication, being able to utilize session management and be able to compromise passwords, keys, and other stuff. #3, sensitive data exposure. Since many applications don't properly protect sensitive data, it can get out. And so on and so forth. We have XML, external entities, broken access control, security misconfiguration, cross-site scripting, insecure deserialization, using components with known vulnerabilities, and insufficient logging. These are the top 10 risks on a site. So what I'd like you to do for the next couple of minutes is continue going through this quick little activity, and then pick a second one from this list. These are all examples of these, and rather than reading them all out, let's do them. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask away in the chat. There are awesome people here who can help you. But this site is pretty straightforward in telling you and guiding you what to do at every step. And for now, I'll pause the recording. Resume. Okay, I will show you some stuff from level 2. Feel free to stay working on this site, especially if you are completely new to the world of web application exploitation. You more than welcome to continue working on this site, trying the different little trainings out. Don't feel like oops. Sounds like I got feedback. Okay. Don't feel that you have to follow along. I'm going to show you what the next steps are. That way, when you do complete this site and you're ready to move on, you'll have an idea of what to do next. So moving on into level 2, you will need Burp Suite. Burp Suite is one of those big tools that are used by industry to do this kind of stuff. Burp Suite is free. The link that I have provided for you is the community edition. This is great for learning. You do not have to buy it. You, especially at this point where you're learning how this all works, the community edition is just right. So let me make a new share and switch over to here. I have installed it on my Windows VM. It was a piece of cake, just went to download the latest version, clicked on the green download button, and it downloaded a 180 megabyte file, I believe. Installation is just like any other application. When it's fully installed, you'll have this new folder and Burp Suite Community Edition. When you run it the first time, of course, it'll ask you, do you accept the terms? Because we are learning, we're going to accept the default settings. So things like the temporary project, using the Burp defaults, which is all there really is to it when you start it. And you have the tool up and ready to go for the later stuff that we'll be doing in these levels. So just wanted to quickly show you one of the big tools that are used for this. I haven't tested Burp Suite running on a M1. This is actually a cloud VM that I have running on Google. So having Burp installed on a VM or locally, however you wish, will definitely be a useful tool in doing web application exploitation. A site that I will point to, as you can see quite a number of times, is TryHackMe. They have many rooms that you can use to learn the stuff that we're doing from the first site in another form. So you'll still keep learning things like command injection and SQL injection, just in different hands-on ways. So for example, I'll open up the Oauth top 10. For this, you will need an account. And you can use a free account if you wish. I'm actually paying for it because I believe in the value of it. And it gives you access to more stuff within TryHackMe. So I've reset my account just to show you how this will work. Once you make an account and you log in, and you can go straight to that link, which again is provided from my site. It's capture the flag mode. So you'll have tasks to do with questions within them that you'll answer. And as you do, you'll progress through the room and whatever various things you need to do. So there's a question about, can I explain command injection? Well, right here in this TryHackMe room, the first task that you'll need to do is that. And command injection is really getting a command line to get executed on your behalf. So for example, one of the typical things that an attacker first does to confirm that they are in the system is run the command who am I to see, have I fully connected to my target system? Do I have terminal access, or do I have command line access to be able to do anything that I want? So in task 5 is when you'll actually start using the machine that's built for this room. And there's a little start machine button that you'll hit. It'll start up a virtual machine on their network. And I'll show you how to connect in a moment. So just like everything else, here's some stuff to read through, and then there are some questions to answer. And as you answer, sometimes it'll give you some hints. So don't feel like you have to be able to solve it on your own. We are all learning. It is perfectly fine to look at hints if you get stuck. And since we are doing this together, feel free to also ask questions in the chat. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes if you are following along with me to create a Try Hack Me account if you haven't already, and then jump into this room, the Oauth Top 10 room. And when you're ready, then I'll continue. But again, if you are still working in the first link, the introductory training modules from application.security, please continue to work there. Don't feel that you have to move forward. Okay, so in order to connect to a Try Hack Me room, there is a simple way that you can get to it, and I'll make it in a new tab. The link for this is this one in italics, connect to Try Hack Me's VPN. They have everything behind a VPN, which is great. So you have two options to connect into their network. You can do it yourself with OpenVPN, which is free. Or if you pay the $10 a month, you can get your own Kali Linux machine in the browser. Now, again, it's completely up to you. Getting started, connecting through OpenVPN is perfectly fine. From your machine, whether that is the machine in front of you or a virtual machine, you will download the configuration file. This file is the one you'll need to open within the OpenVPN program in order to connect into their network, because you can't get to all their rooms from the outside. If you decide that Try Hack Me is great and you want to pay the monthly fee of $10, then you'll be able to access a Kali Linux image right from the browser without having to create any VPN connection. Now that, again, the choice is yours. Both are pretty easy to use. Again, if you're going to use this method, you'll need to install OpenVPN, and they have instructions for you. So let's say you are on Windows. You'll download your configuration pack, and there's a link for that. You'll install the GUI application, and they have step-by-step what to do after you install, how to import the file, and connect. If you are on a Mac, again, they have instructions step-by-step of what to do. Once you have done that, you'll be able to see you have completely connected, because this will change from a red X to the check mark to say you are connected. I'll show you what this looks like. Say I want Kali Linux, start machine. As you can see, it's only up for a small period of time, along with username and password. But that's fine, that it'll go away after a bit. In order to access the rooms while we wait for my VM to get started, we first need to click on this Join Room button. That way we can start submitting answers. By joining the room, we've already answered a few of these. As you can see, no answer needed, completed. No answer needed. Awesome. We can jump all the way up to 5. So task 5 is actually command injection practice. So again, running commands is doing what you would normally do in a terminal, but using using the website to make the machine behind it, who's serving the page, run commands like who am I, ID, and these. So to complete the question below, you'll need to navigate to a certain machine. And you'll need to do that either, again, through your OVPN connection or through something like this, since it is all internal. So we'll need to navigate to the IP address. And right now, we don't know what the IP address is because I haven't hit Start Machine. So I'm going to click on Start Machine. And in a moment, well, in a minute, we will see what the IP address is for my system. For yours, it could be a little different.
Yeah, I could. You can hear me, right?
Yes. So I will hit pause recording while I wait for everyone to catch up. Can you guys hear me? Once you are able to see your private IP address, here's the one for mine, you can now begin to answer these questions. So to complete the questions below, in either the machine you have installed OpenVPN on, or if you have a Kali Linux box like this one, you'll need to go to that site. So we need a browser, and this is pretty small. Holy moly, that's huge. Oh, look at that, it resizes. Cool. All right, it has been a minute since I've been on Kali. I tend to just use Debian. Ah, there's Firefox. It'll take a minute to open up. Cool. So from here, we can navigate. In my case, I'm going to go to 10.10.59.218/evilshell.php. Your IP address may be different. So we have our first question. What strange text is in the website root directory? Oh, could you please show again how to go there? No problem. So number one, you need to have the account. Once you're in, you'll need to connect to the TryHackMe network if you haven't done so already. You could either pay the $10 a month and get a VM within, or connect through VPN. Once you have that done, you have connected into their network, you're ready to go. Go to task 5 within the Oauth top 10 room, and then click on the green Start Machine button. It'll take about a minute. But once it's done, you'll be presented with the IP address of the system for you to work on. Then if you scroll down to the bottom of task 5, you'll see this. To complete the questions below, navigate to whatever IP address is for your system. So you do that within the machine that is VPN'd into their network, or like you see me within their own Kali system. We now have everything we need to begin answering these questions. So the first question here is, what strange text file is in the website root directory? And you have these list of example things to try. So try it out. Put a command in any one of those or any others that you think of, and let's see what happens. So if I do who am I, let's see what it does. Tells us we are www data. Okay, how about ID? Gives us the ID of the user. ifconfig. So these are things that you normally get when you type it in like the command prompt or in terminal, but we're getting it on a website. This is all bad. So how do you view the files that exist when you're using the command line? How do you, view the contents of a folder? Right, you could do ls. So we could do ls. What happens? Oh, look at that. Dr. Pepper.txt. Seems like that could be the answer. So let's find out. That it's a CTF. We are learning. Trial and error is totally the way to go. And we hit submit. And that is the correct answer. Should I access my IP in the open VPN via Firefox? You should be able to, yes. Once you've connected to their network, you will have an IP address to connect to. So here's a second question. How many root or non-root, non-service, non-daemon users are there? This looks like a Linux question. Took me a while. Well, if it took Sam Bound a while. Lisa, you put in the text as is. What you need to do is click on this green Start Machine button. And in about a minute, your VM will be ready and you'll be presented with an IP address. So you'll need to change where it says my machine _IP with the IP address of the machine they're presenting to you. Then it will be able to connect. Yes, yeah, it did automatically change for me. So you might not have started up the room just yet. Not a problem at all. So we were able to answer this first question. Try answering these others. And for now, I will pause the recording. So within level 2, I have given you a couple of Try Hackney rooms for you to try. So besides that one, there is another tool called the Owasp Zap. It is similar to Burp Suite because not one tool can do it all. So feel free to try this room out on your time. And there's also something that TryHackMe started implementing late last year and has done now, is they have pathways set up. So if you want to get more knowledge in a structured way following the TryHackMe setup, you could do these rooms in an order. And here's some need to know. So if, for example, you have no knowledge of Linux, you can jump to that track. If after doing this, you feel like you want to continue, you could go into cryptography. They have many modules, many learning pathways that you can use, and they already have a pathway listed for you for web hacking stuff, for the stuff that we've been talking about today. Now the last level, the further learning, starts with the Web Security Academy. I've reset this. This is another free site that you can use. They also cover the Oauth top 10, but in a whole nother way. So with these guys, you have examples of what, for example, what SQL injection is, of how do you retrieve data. Here's some examples. And then they have labs that you can click on and go to. This is where Burp Suite comes in to play. So right now it is loading a lab. And in a moment, we'll be presented with a website that you can deploy that this kind of attack that it's talking about. In this case, in this first lab, I'll make a duplicate of this to show you. The thing to do in this first lab is when a user selects a category, the application carries out a query in the form of this to solve the lab, perform a SQL injection attack that causes the application to display details of all products in any category. So this might sound a lot, and that's okay. That's why I put it in level 3. So as you complete the other TryHackMe rooms, you'll gain an understanding to be able to handle this. And just like with everything else, if you get stuck, if you get lost, it's totally fine to just click on the solution and see how you're supposed to answer this. For a lot of these, you'll need to use Burp Suite. Let me switch over to my RDP. Within Burp Suite, inside of Proxy, there is an embedded browser already that you can use to connect to things like the Web Security Academy and be able to see what's happening and intercept. So for example, let's see if I can pull up that first learning path. Here's SQL injection. There's the text about it. Here's the lab. I might need to log in. No, okay. Let's see if it lets me. So you see Burp is intercepting the communication of this browser. And in order for me to forward item by item, I need to click on forward, and then something will happen over here. So you can see everything that's coming in and out of the browser so that you can manipulate it as needed in order to get what you want. In the case of this very first lab, according to the Burp Suite site, we need to use Burp to intercept and modify the request that sets the product category filter. You'll need to modify the category parameter, giving it the value of the apostrophe plus or 1 equals 1 dash dash. We'll submit the request and verify the response now contains additional items. So within this text that we forward as this browser talks with the Web Security Academy, we're going to get a response. We're going to see SQL in here, and we'll need to modify it in the way that it was telling us earlier, and that will get us the answer. So at some point, we'll see some SQL, and then you can change it here and then move it forward so that the SQL injection works. Now, as I said, this is definitely more higher level because it's not as guided as the Try Hack Me and the application.security, but it's a great next step as you go from understanding the fundamentals, trying this stuff out in a sandbox environment, to working it in Try Hack Me, and then using it here in the Web Security Academy. They have a lot of great in-depth material that you can use to continue furthering your knowledge in web security. So I suggest using that as the next step once you have accomplished some of the other Try Hack Me rooms. The last thing that I want to show you are these challenges. The Jew Shop is one of the best ways to implement the stuff you've been learning in these various rooms in a CTF format. So you can spin up your own Jew Shop. There should be a button here to launch it on Heroku, I believe. There's an online demo. And that'll launch the Jew Shop. You can get a tutorial on how to get started in this, and it'll tell you what to do step by step. This application is riddled with security vulnerabilities. And there is a scoreboard that you need to find to begin with. And then there's all kinds of vulnerabilities. Everything that you'll see in all the Try Hack Me rooms, everything that you'll see in everything prior comes to play here. If you get stuck, because as you see, there's not much guidance once you are at it, there is a book, a companion guide, that if you get stuck, you could reference to proceed through the challenges, which is good because this thing has a lot of challenges, and some are easy and some are really complicated. So it is good to have a guide if you get stuck. Further on, there's also Hackathon and WebGoat, 2 VMs that you could run locally in order to continue testing your knowledge and testing your skills that you have gained from everything else that we've covered. And that's just a quick overview and an introduction into web application exploitation from the ground up to where you could start doing this in contests and even doing this on actual sites. Which, if you're going to do it on an actual site, be sure that you have proper approval, be sure that you have all the proper documentation. I suggest if you're going to do this for real, do it on your own sites first to gain an understanding, to build documentation, to build an ethical reputation of what you're doing. Definitely, I would like if you have your own web server, put up things like Hackathon, try it out, write your own write-up of how you did it. Just because it's been done before doesn't mean that you shouldn't go through it yourself. So definitely try it out yourself, write about it, get yourself into it, hands-on work as you see through all this. And this is just a start for you. From here, you could definitely go anywhere in going deeper into web security. I see questions being answered in the chat. Yes, Burp is like man in the middle. It's more man in the browser. I am using Google Cloud for my Windows VM. That way it doesn't matter what I'm running locally. It's completely agnostic. I could be on a Chromebook. I could be on a Surface Pro. Doesn't matter. I can still access the machines just the same. Are there any pressing questions before I stop the recording? I am on task 5. How many employees does TryHackMe have? I'm not sure, but them being around since 2018 definitely is still a new product. But it's for what it is, it's a great learning platform. Not able to find non-root users by entering cat Etsy password. Let's see, do I still have that room up? I might be able to get it. I recommend it if you want to get serious into learning these kinds of things. I would recommend it. That's why the site is called TryHackMe. So you try it. We have a little over 10 minutes left. It worked. Awesome. Rod, do you want me to continue the recording for 10 minutes?
Yeah, we can leave it for another 10 minutes. Yeah.
No problem. With the popularity of the cloud, do you see Oauth's top 10 changing drastically? What do you think, Rod? Do you think the top 10 will change?
Certain things have changed. I noticed that they took, I think it was cross-site request forgery, which used to be in the top 10. But I agree with you that at the end of the day, and even when I do my assessments, injection is the way to go. If you can get an injection and you can retrieve data, that's a win right there. And nowadays, you have this sort of frameworks that are based on JavaScript and depend on backends. Basically, server side and SQLi for me are like the biggest things right now.
Yeah, I think there might be some changes here and there, but like Rod said, I think the top of the top 10 is probably going to stay like that for a while. Yep, and as long as they make the same mistakes over and over, the top 10 will pretty much stay the same. Well, thank you. How long this lab will work for us after your session? Well, all of these sites like TryHackMe, Web Security Academy, and all that, you can make accounts on your own. So I should be up forever and a day. My page that has these links will be available for you as well. I'm not going to move it. So you have a reference to get started on or continue. Sam Bound has a lot of great stuff as well in this stuff. So feel free to check out his site, samsclass.info. He's had labs and whatnot built way longer than I have. Well, definitely the first one is pretty. All right, we have about 5 minutes left. Yes, for the classes that I teach that have free enrollment, you can join anytime. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the Wireshark CTF is a CTF version of my Wireshark class. I teach at Cabrillo College in Santa Cruz. Awesome. Yeah, my Wireshark CTF and class are based on all the Wireshark books that Laura Chappell has made. Oh, we'll be doing that CTF for Hack Miami next week.
Right. We have next week at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna have the Wireshark CTF if you guys are interested. So.
By then, it should make I'll have some updates that'll make the CTF just a little more smoother. Anything from Chapel University is all from Laura. I don't know what the URL for Hack Miami is.
You can go to meetup.com/Hack Miami, and then you will see all the information. We're gonna have maybe to do this because I was gonna use WebEx.
Yeah, Rod, we can use this same link actually.
Okay, I can. Yeah, if you go ahead and email it to me, and
will do.
And I'll change the actual. I will update the meetup info. This was awesome. This was pretty amazing. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Did we place a Discord invite or not?
I think you did at the beginning.
Yes. Yeah, you did at the beginning.
Yeah, let's put it again.
Yeah.
For those of you who attended this meeting, we do have a Discord where we have we share job opportunities, we share information out to the minute, and pretty useful in general info for the industry. And sometimes, you get to find out things way before they go public. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, and Irvin is going to be part of it as well. So I put the Discord invite, and you guys can join it. And thank you for coming.
Thank you, Rod and Marco, for letting me present today.
Of course, man, you did an awesome job. I knew it.
So I'm going to stop the recording if that's okay.